Hello everyone, this is Joseph from English with Joseph. Today I would like to talk to you on the subject of reading. One question which I'm asked a lot is concerning how to read better. Every day we read things on the internet. Sometimes we read newspapers, or sometimes we read instructions for work or for something else. But sometimes we have to read things publicly or in front of other people, and it's difficult, especially if English is your second language. Let me give you an example. The boy jumped over the fence. Now you can see there that there's a very broken pronunciation there. If I was speaking, I would say, the boy jumped over the fence. Now, this isn't just to do with looking at the words and pronouncing them. This is to do with a mindset. Really, to grasp English, you have to be thinking in English at all times. Now, you can start this slowly by every day allowing yourself perhaps, say, 1 hour to translate the thoughts that come into English. So first you hear them in your language, then you hear them in English. And the next natural step is you will hear them in English. Now when that happens, when you see something written down, it's much easier to say it. The boy jumped over the fence. It's very simple once you recognize the words. Instead of saying, the boy, boy, jumped, verb to jump, past tense, ed, over, what's over, You see, so this is all about practicing your English. And once you've done that, you'll be able to read fluently. Now let me give you another tip. Something else which will help. Even if you don't know what the whole sentence means, you can still read it fluently to give the impression that you do. And it's all to do with joining the last part of the words with the word that's coming after. Let me give you an example. The boy jumped. Now, you hear the space? The boy jumped. Okay, if you want to make this more fluent, you can join when you're speaking, not of course when you're writing, but you can join the and boy and jumped together a little bit closer. Let me give you an example. The boy jumped. So there's no spaces. The boy jumped. You see the word jumped. You hear the word jumped. Jumped. If you look at it, you'll see the letter J. Jumped. Imagine if that letter was at the end of the word boy. What sound would you get? You would get boy. Okay? So that gives you an idea. If you join the last letter onto the word before, or to look at it the other way, if you join the last letter of any word to the word that comes after it, then it's going to sound more fluent. Okay? Let's try again. The boy jumped over the fence. The boy jumped over the fence. Now you can hear there that if English wasn't your first language, it's very hard to see where the words are separated because it's all done in one breath. The boy jumped over the fence. So, I'd like you to write a simple sentence and see if you can join the last letter of each word to the beginning of the following word. Okay, let me give you an example. So let's think of the boy. Okay, so we don't want to say the boy, we want it to flow. Okay, so let's try. What's the last letter? E. What's the sound? Okay, so that becomes the boy. So imagine the word boy is preceded with the letter E. Imagine it wasn't the word boy, it was a boy. The boy. There's no gap there anymore. You see? And it sounds much more fluent. So with speaking only, you can pretend that the words are joined. Now let's go back to our example of the boy jumped. What you're hearing there? You're hearing boyj, boyj. And that's because we're bringing the letter J to the end of the word boy. Boyj. The boy jumped over the fence. So in speaking, you can think about where the words are joining in order for your reading to sound more fluent. Let's try again. The boy jumped over the fence. Okay, so I'd like you to write a simple sentence and try experimenting with the last letter and how the sentence would sound if it was bolted on to the word after. Again, going back to our example, the boy jumped, that would be the E joining B. The boy jumped. No space, all one breath. The boy jumped. The problems begin is when you're trying to see the words as individual entities. In written English, that's very important, of course. But in spoken English, that's not so important because you're not going to be pronouncing the words like that. Unless, of course, you are maybe doing it deliberately or speaking like this. How many people do you know who speak like that? Well, I think there's probably some hypnotists do. Sleep. Yes, you will sleep. You know what a hypnotist is? Go look it up. Anyway, that's all for today, so I hope that's of help to you. Thank you and goodbye.